So, I gotta take a break from reading and diving into all this Evander Kane Vancouver stuff because the Canucks fan base is absolutely in shambles right now. I don't know if y'all had seen the reaction to the last video that we had made on this channel going over that trade, but I need a break, man. Let's talk about the Montreal Canadiens instead. Shift our focus to an area where all the fans seem to be happy and not super pissed off at the team. Because the Montreal Canadiens have themselves a few interesting updates that I wanted to dive into here today, and it all comes to us in the form of David Pagnotta's recent article yesterday. I'll leave a link in the description to this piece posted on thefourthperiod.com. The Montreal Canadiens continue to be active in the trade market. Okay, cool. It's funny because the picture that they use in the article is the same picture of Kent Hughes that we've used for a number of videos over the past few years. Yeah, it's kind of tough because there aren't many images that exist of Kent Hughes. I mean, there's a lot of video footage. People go out there and film the guy in his press conferences all the time, but in terms of high-quality images from Getty and all that, nah. It's like this and a few others, but ultimately, let's dive into what David Pagnotta writes about in regards to the Montreal Canadiens. They have a number of irons in the fire leading up to the NHL Draft, which begins on Friday. And GM Kent Hughes remains in the market for some extra scoring punch. On Saturday, the fourth period's David Pagnotta reported the Habs are actively looking to make roster upgrades, and Hughes is trying to turn over as many stones as he can. And that continues to be the case. Hughes is still hoping to land a second-line center, but as Pagnotta reported, the Habs are open to multiple scenarios, including adding a top-6 winger. Now, is a top-6 winger going to be brought into Montreal to dethrone Patrik Laine and try to get some chemistry going with Ivan Demidov? Okay, I kind of like the sound of that. Laine is more of a goal-scoring specialist who doesn't really do much outside of the power play one-time bomb that he can unleash. So I'm kind of thinking it's either you get Ivan Demidov and you move him to center, or you get somebody else to play with Demidov and whichever second-line guy you're trying to have in your center core. A lot of options for the Montreal Canadiens, and I'm interested in seeing where Kent Hughes is going to go with it. The article goes out there and says this: the Canadiens, according to a well-placed source, spoke with the Dallas Stars earlier this month. The talks have not yet materialized into anything close. Dallas GM Jim Nill had entertained inquiries on left wing Jason Robertson, but remains reluctant to move him. So, the way this piece is worded and the way these two sentences are worded is kind of interesting. The Habs spoke with Dallas. Talks have not progressed to any meaningful capacity, but Jim Nill had to entertain inquiries on left wing Jason Robertson too. Are those two things connected, or are they exclusive? Is it like, Montreal talked to Dallas about trades, and separately, Dallas is talking about trades with Jason Robertson? Are these trade offers coming from Montreal specifically, or some other team? If it's the case that Montreal is talking about J-Rob, then okay, I would love to see Jason Robertson and Ivan Demidov together. Oh my gosh. Or, heck, not even Jason Robertson and Demidov. Imagine having Robertson and Slafkovsky. If Slav ends up becoming anywhere near the player that Jason Robertson is, then I think you have an absolute win of a first overall draft pick on your hands. J-Rob, might I remind you, is just 2 seasons removed from having a 100-point year. And the past 2 years, they've been disappointing, yeah, but he's been at 80 points both seasons in those years. So I think J-Rob is a totally acceptable hockey player who has talent and who is capable of bringing some really good skill. In Montreal, he needs a contract, yes. He didn't produce in the playoffs this recent postseason, yes. He was producing in the playoffs in the other postseasons, though. That's definitely the case. And he's only 25 years old. 1 more year at $7.75 million a year. This is the kind of guy that I think Montreal could totally clasp onto as a top-tier superstar caliber guy. More of a superstar than Suzuki. Okay, I only say that because Robertson has a 100-point year. under his belt, and Suzuki doesn't, but more of a superstar than everybody else on the team aside, I guess you could debate Suzuki. And plus, something about having a captain with Japanese blood and a top winger with Filipino blood on the same team. That really makes me feel good, man. Get that Asian representation in there, man. Of course, you all know that I'm Filipino myself. Born and not raised. I was raised here in Vancouver, but I was born there. So anytime we talk about Nick Robertson or Jason Robertson, it always tickles a special place in my heart. But Jason Robertson, Montreal Canadiens target, the question is, what would you be interested in trading away for this guy? We had seen trade offers and trade rumors of other teams sending away their top prospect, plus their first-round pick and a roster player, and maybe even a bit more than that, because Jason Robertson, this is not the same old Pierre-Luc Dubois song and dance that we've been used to seeing the past few years. He's a lot better of a player compared to all those dudes. So, I mean, if I were to hypothesize something, I would say maybe 16 and 17, that's a given. Maybe the top prospect the Canadiens have, which I guess is Demidov, but no, they're not going to do that. He's already on the team. Michael Hage, you could say. And then you add on a roster player like Josh Anderson. Yeah, that's a really interesting stylistic replacement for the Dallas Stars. I don't think that's going to work. There would need to be a little bit more meat on the bone for the Dallas Stars to end up acquiring just a Josh Anderson-like asset on their roster. Like, sure, 16, 17, Michael Hage, lots of value there, but that doesn't help the roster. That doesn't help the Dallas Stars in 2025, 2026. And this is a team that's made the third round every year, it seems like, so they really want to get over that hump and get back into the finals like they were at in 2020. So, J-Rob, is he a guy that you're interested in if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan heading into this 2025 offseason? What do you think is the price that you would be willing to pay if you were Kent Hughes? Let's go out there and read the rest of the article to end things off over here. It talks about how, of course, Jason Robertson has been a subject of interest. The Canadiens have at least $6.1 million in salary cap space, and they can create more depending on which young players start the season in the AHL. While not ideal, the Canadiens can also place Carey Price on the LTIR and use his $10.5 million cap hit as overage space, but such a move might not occur until closer to the season as clubs can exceed the cap by 10% in the off-season. It's unclear whom the Canadiens are specifically targeting, but with a willingness to package draft picks and prospects, Hughes has multiple options to dangle. The Habs may also explore the market on winger Josh Anderson. Hey, what do you know? That's the guy that we had just talked about, who has 2 years remaining on his contract and comes with a $5.5 million cap hit. He also owns a 5-team no-trade list. So that's the piece here on thefourthperiod.com. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to read it yourself. But for now, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Montreal Canadiens and Jason Robertson? We've been making videos about Robertson with a whole bunch of teams, but the Montreal one, I think, is the most interesting because this team has, I think, the most to give to a guy like Jason Robertson at this stage of his career and at this stage of their team's timeline. So do you think it's a fit? Let me know in the comment section below. What do you think about Jason Robertson? If you're a Dallas Stars fan, what is it that you would want from the Montreal Canadiens to make this sort of a trade go through? Are you interested in anything the Habs have to offer in a trade? Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.